So here's what just happened with California, okay? Couple legislators got together, okay? They got together and they were giving notes and they were giving ideas on what to do. And it got to a point where this one legislation could pass in the state of California that will have a 0.4% wealth tax on anybody worth 30 million or higher, which means whatever you have on the first 30 million, you don't get taxed on. But per 10 million, you're going to get taxed above the 30 million. So per 10 million, you'll be paying $40,000. So if it's 100 million, you're paying $400,000. If it's $1 billion, you're paying $4 million, et cetera, et cetera. They're calling it the wealth tax. This idea was brought up before by Elizabeth Warren, and she offered 2% is what she was suggesting. California is now saying 4%. Now, I'm sorry, 0.4%. And then on top of that, get this. Here's the other thing they're suggesting. They are suggesting to raise the regular taxes, top-line revenue, which California already has, at 13.3%. If you go look at the rates on the worst state with taxes, number 1 is California. Number 8 is New York. Best one is Tennessee. But number 1, worst taxes in America is California. So 0.4%, they're saying it'll generate them an additional $7.5 billion a year in this fund. And then on top of that is 30,400 people in California that are going to be hit by this because there's only 30,400 people that are worth 30 million plus. So a lot of people are going to be like, I don't care if you pass this tax. I'm for it. There's nothing wrong with that. And on top of that, the additional taxes, they want to raise it from 13.3%, which is the top line taxes for a state in California, to 16.8%. Having said that, you had a couple comments to make earlier. Adam, I want to come to you first. What are your thoughts on what's going on with California right now?
You know, it's being from Florida, I'm really genuinely not too familiar with states implementing, can I get that, state taxes. You know, and obviously coming from the financial services world, I'm very familiar with the estate tax. So two different concepts here.
Exactly.
I'm talking two different concepts. I'm talking state tax, the state you live in, and then the estate tax when you're worth over what, 25 million at this point?
It's 20, I don't know if it's
something in the 20 million. You know, for all my multi-millionaires out there, look out for something called the estate tax. So taxes already do exist, and then some on the wealthy with this estate tax. You know, come on down to Florida, basically, is what I'm saying. Come on down to Texas.
No, but one of the things
basically, it's shocking the taxes that people like. At what point do people just say, "I can't"?
But wait a minute, you said something earlier where you said the other thing the legislator said is the fact that they're going to go back. If somebody says, "Screw it, I'm leaving," like people are leaving New York, what do they say they're going to do in California?
They said basically they're going to come after you for 10 years.
10
if you live
years.
in California, you made your wealth in California. And you're like, "Yo, I can't do this anymore. I'm moving to Texas." They're going to come after you for 10 years. I think it proactively, it goes 90%, 80%, 70%.
Retroactively.
So retroactively. Yeah. So basically they're saying, if I move,
yeah,
you're not escaping the California wealth tax, buddy. I don't care where you go. You can go across the world. We're coming for you. That's a slippery slope, Pat. I mean, I don't. Is that even legal?
Josh, what do you think about it?
Are you sure you want this, Pat?
Bring it.
Let me go ahead and tell you what I think about it, because I think this is the most insane, stupid, asinine thing in the world, and you know that I'm a proponent of the flat tax. I think that there should be one flat tax. But let me tell you the different ways that Americans are taxed, and we don't even realize it, okay? We talk about income taxes, obviously. We got our federal, state taxes, our sales taxes, our excise taxes, our payroll taxes, our property taxes, our estate taxes, our gift taxes. They tax you. In fact, there's one tax nobody talks about, and that's inflation, which means that every time the government prints money, they're taxing you, and you can do absolutely nothing about it. You want to know what we did? We gave a bunch of flippin' retards, and we made them money managers. Every time that we vote on these politicians, we take these people that love to do nothing but spend, 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 spend. I just want to remind all of the viewers, there's no such thing as government money. There's no such thing as government money. There are hardworking, red-blooded Americans of every kind, color, ethnicity, race, creed, sexuality, all of this stuff. Like, those are the people that make the money. But they are taxing us into freaking oblivion. How stupid is it, Pat, that you can make a bunch of money in your lifetime? You get taxed on that money. And guess what? As soon as your kids go to inherit that money, as soon as you pass it on down to them, they've already taxed the snot out of you on that money. You go to pass it down to your kids and leave a legacy, what are they going to do? They're going to tax your kids again. This is the problem. We need a revolution in America, and I want to remind you this. This country was founded upon the hatred for unfair taxation. The Boston Tea Party, we look at those people as patriots, right? The people that would go out and they would start a revolution, the big Boston Tea Party.
No taxation without representation.
Do you know what that tax was? That tax was 3 cents per pound of tea. All right? And they said, no, we're sick and tired of it. I think that we need another revolution in America to where we tell people 2 things. Number one, most of all, stop freaking taxing us. I honestly think, Pat, I'd love to get your take on this after we go into the intricacies of this wealth tax, is why should we not just have a flat tax? We live in a land of equality. Everyone wants equality, right? But why is that not for the guys on top too? Why in the world are we going to take the innovators and the guys that are actually out there providing jobs and stuff? Why in the world are we trying to handcuff these guys, punish them? Man, it's...
Well, here's the challenge with the flat tax. I'm all for a flat tax. I think it makes a lot of sense to have a flat tax. And for me, the challenge with flat tax is, you say I'm on the left, okay? If I'm on the left and you're offering a flat tax, logically it makes sense. Reasonably, it makes sense. Everybody ought to pay the same amount of taxes, fine. But they're going to go back and say, hey, Republicans, your favorite president of all time was Ronald Reagan, and he proposed a progressive tax. So if he's so great, you can't just pick and choose the stuff you like about him and you don't like about him because he proposed a progressive tax. And that was, the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. But I'm all for a flat tax. However, let me get back to a couple things. So this guy was being interviewed by your guy on Fox
Neil
Business.
Cavuto.
Neil Cavuto is interviewing
who's a stud.
Rob Bonta.
He's fair and balanced. He's what Fox should be.
Sure. Rob Bonta, who is the California Assemblyman. Okay. Yeah. And while he's interviewing him, he says, what makes you think no one's going to leave? He says, our millionaires and billionaires have increased in the last 10 years. And yes, some people thinking about leaving, but this is California. And Neil says something like, well, don't you think your beautiful state like California is going to lose a lot more billionaires? Thank you for letting us know that California is beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful. The level of being pompous, like, leave, I dare you to leave. You can only have that attitude for so long until people do leave. Then what do you do when they do leave? By the way, this kind of takes it into, the flat tax, not flat tax, the wealth tax. So see if other people have done this before. Elizabeth Warren wanted a 2% tax, net wealth tax, on people worth $50 million and up. Okay, so if you're worth $100 million, she wants 2% on that additional $50 million. And she wanted a 3% tax on billionaires, net. You're worth a bill, it's a management fee. Like when you work at Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch and you got your Series 7, which is kind of what you just talked about as a money manager. If you got $1 billion under management, you make 1%.
AUM, right?
Assets under management, you're making $10 million a year. If you got $100 million under management, you're making 1%, you're making $1 million a year.
It's fantastic.
This is a method of saying we're officially asset managers, which Josh gave the best analogy could have possibly given. But here's the part that they're not talking about. Wealth tax has already been tested in Europe, okay? More than a dozen European countries have used the wealth tax. And nearly all of these countries eventually repealed them. Austria, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Sweden. Wealth tax survived only in Norway. Freaking people from Norway, Kai. What is up with your people? Spain and Switzerland. Here's an interesting fact. Do you know who leaves? Who do you think leaves when you have a wealth tax? Who leaves?
Wealthy.
The wealthy leave.